as we all know, schools are now opening. It's just about a week left, and 4th of July we reopen after the summer break. Um, People have, parents have been reaching out to us, over the last couple of weeks, trying to understand how we're going to deal with the effects of pandemic. Kids haven't, really been on the curve, the academic learning curve, the way they were expected to be. So there are still some gaps. There have been a lot of questions around that. How do we bridge those gaps? So we thought we will quickly have a conversation with you, trying to understand or trying to explain to you what are we going to do over the next couple of months, right? So Jaya, specifically for primary, right? What are the areas you will be targeting over the next 2-3 months in term two?
The main gap which we saw in children's learning after the 2 years when they came back to school was mainly in writing. Plus, there were some children who had not attended the classes properly, so maybe they had some learning gaps. We have tried to identify those gaps and primarily focused on giving them writing practice and group them in different sections so that we can bring them up the curve in their required mode. Right.
See, what has happened, parents? Children are at different levels, right, of learning curves. Now, there may be a child in grade 2 who's probably able to write full sentences on his or her own. Then there'll be another child who's not able to write sentences yet, but is able to copy. But then there'll be third child for whom even simple copying from the board becomes a little bit difficult because the child has not been writing for the last 2 years at all. Right? What we have tried doing is we have tried to identify these specific needs of the children and create specific modules for them, right? So that we can address their specific requirements, right? That's what you meant?
Yeah.
So, for example, if a child is good at basic writing, we will push the child to write paragraphs, right? If the child is good at paragraphs, we'll make them child write long stories, right? If the child is not able to write at all, basic letter recognition becomes a problem, which happens sometimes in grade 1. Kids haven't studied regularly for the last 2 years, right? Then we will have a slightly different mode of operation. What we are also doing is we are identifying such children, trying to group them together so that we can address the issues exactly the way it is required for that particular group. Another issue which parents have been reaching out to us was, what we have done is we have started focusing a lot more on English and mathematics, and kind of de-emphasizing a little bit in terms of SST, maybe science a little bit. Right? Why are we doing that, ma'am? What do you think? Although I know the reason, but it will be helpful if you can share it with the parents.
So the reason why we are focusing more on English and maths primarily in the primary section for grade 1 to 5, that because these are the two important areas which the children need to have the fundamentals clear in these basic years so that we can build upon them in future.
Another thing where we are focusing a lot is prioritizing subjects. English and maths, right? Languages and arithmetic. These are two core subjects for students in primary grades, right? And what we are trying to do is we are trying to make sure that the children are definitely at least to the expectation level in English and mathematics. Also, Hindi is also important language, so we are trying to do a little bit in Hindi as well, right? And obviously, SST, science, they can be caught up a little later. It is not that we are not focusing there, but clearly we want to make sure that our children are at least at the learning curve or ahead of the learning curve, at par or ahead in English, maths, and Hindi. Right, Jana?
Yeah.
How are we doing that?
So we are giving more time to languages plus arithmetic because obviously with more time only we can cope up or we can bring them up more in these areas. Then again, the teaching methodology is such that we are doing the basics and then bringing up, keeping in mind the 2 years loss which we see in some children. So again, keeping in mind all that, we are devoting more time plus doing starting from a basic and pushing the children who are already there meeting those basic needs.
So just to give an example, till last year we used to have 6 English periods in a week. As we speak, Jana, how many English periods are we giving in a week?
We have 8 periods.
We have now 8 English periods, from this term onwards. In fact, even the last term we had it. And the reason is because we want to really focus on language, right? Maths has always been a very, very high focus area, so it continues to do so. As these kids move from primary to middle, right, we also start focusing a lot more on SST, science, etc. But if they have a very strong foundation, if we haven't compromised on languages and mathematics, then we have seen in the past that the kids flourish in 6th, 7th, and 8th and beyond. Right? So that's the whole plan that we have.
It is language is being the most important thing for them to understand any subject, be it SST or science, or for that matter, maths also. So it is of primary importance here in primary section for these children to pick up those things right now.
And are there any additional initiatives that we have started? You have been saying a lot about languages. Are there any additional initiatives that you would want to inform the parents about?
Yes, we have started a language development module. Like we have 3 periods devoted to language development, where we are making the children write more. Plus, there's verbal communication class there in that, and this in a way is helping them develop the language from all aspects, be it reading, writing, speaking, listening. All aspects we are covering through the regular English periods plus these language development classes.
Jaman, till 2 years back, I remember very distinctly, right? All our students from grade 2 to grade 5 in primary were able to speak English properly.
Yeah.
The moment they've come back after COVID, that confidence level has kind of come down a little bit. Is there anything specific we are doing to make sure that,
We are focusing on English speaking through these language development classes, of course, but there's a continuous reinforcement happening in the classes in terms of the teachers reminding the children, plus we are giving incentives, maybe just making them English monitors or giving them chance to present something in front of the class so that it motivates others. So all these things, and we are taking care that all children are motivated enough to speak in English throughout the day. Even if they can't, so they are being helped. We ask them to speak whatever they want to in Hindi to a person or teacher available, and the teacher translates it for them in English and then helps them speak in English. So that in a way gives them the confidence to speak in English next time. And slowly, I hope in the next 2-3 months we would see a change. We are back to that place where all children in the school are speaking in English, be it from grade 1 or 2.
Wonderful.
So in the last 2 years, especially with the working parents, we've seen that they were not able to give time to the children, or the children were attending classes, online classes on their own. That has affected their learning. Now, can the school make it up all for those students? Yes, we are trying from our side, but it is slightly difficult. So, what do you think we can do?
See, the COVID years were definitely very tough for parents who were working, right? And obviously for the children. There were a lot of gaps which came because, the parents were in the office, the kids were attending classes at home. And, ultimately they are kids, right? So sometimes, they were sincere, sometimes they were able to attend classes, do the work on time, sometimes they were not. If Jaya ma'am, as we have discussed, the group which has kind of suffered the most, really, is the group where the primary child was studying completely alone without any parent or adult supervision. To be honest, can this gap be bridged within the next 2-3 months, 4 months? I think it will be tough. We are trying very hard. We have identified some areas. As I said, we are taking some initiatives. In mathematics and English, we are taking a lot of initiatives. But we do need a lot of support from parents as well. At least, in the evenings. So what we can do is, one, if you identify some areas where there are gaps, kindly reach out to us. Kindly send a diary note so that we can give extra classes to the child. That's one. Second, we can also provide extra worksheets for the areas where either we believe that the child is struggling in or you believe that the child is struggling in, right? Those extra worksheets can be provided. And maybe 2-3 worksheets a day in the evening, you can sit down with the child and cover that part of syllabus where the child is struggling. We do believe that if we can put in an effort for the next 6 to 9 months, things will be better. But if we can combine our strengths, if the parents can also pitch in and the school also pitches in, things will, be a little easier.
Definitely faster.
But there are some areas where it will be tough for the parent to pitch in. In that case, what we expect is that the parent will reach out to us and proactively ask for support where he or she thinks support is required, and we will try and do whatever best we can. So parents, all in all, we are working hard, at Teola to make sure that the gaps are bridged, right? Not just for the students who have suffered a lot, also for the students who, moving at a very fast pace, but the pace kind of slackened out a little bit, right? So all set of students will be addressed over the next couple of months. Uh, we would like our dialogue to continue. Feel free to reach out to us. Feel free to send diary notes to us. If you think there's something else that needs to be done, if you think we can improve upon our delivery or anything else, just reach out to us. Bringing up a child, is a partnership. Is a partnership between the school and the parents, and we both need to pitch in. Teola is working hard. We are not perfect, but we are moving. We are sincere. We have our integrity, and we try and do whatever best we can for our children. As I said, you can reach out to the teachers through diary notes. You can speak with the coordinators. You can speak with Jaya ma'am, or you can speak to me and Nirja sir as and when you have any issue, you're facing a problem, or you have a feedback, right? Let's make sure that we have a fantastic relationship and a fantastic partnership, because it is this partnership which is ultimately going to result in a beautiful future for our children. So with that, thank you so much. See you again soon.